Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Hindy, the Android Authority app guy, and I'm here to tell you that some people screw up a whole lot more than others. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the most controversial apps and games from the year 2016. The first Badland was one hell of a good platformer game. It was a pay-once title with tons of gameplay features. Thus, we were excited when we learned that Badland 2 was coming out. That is, until we learned that it was coming from Cheetah Games, a branch off of Cheetah Mobile, the makers of the Clean Master app. Their beta release of the application contained rampant advertising and in-app purchases, which made everybody understandably angry. The first full release returned to a pay-once following all of the backlash. However, there is still tons of advertising along with other corny freemium mechanics that just make the game less enjoyable. Beam was an attempted social media application that was created by popular YouTuber Casey Neistat. It never quite achieved the popularity of his YouTube channel, but it did work pretty well. In late 2016, Neistat sold the application to CNN for $25 million. Following this, he quit his daily vlog and is now doing some big project for CNN. Many have labeled Neistat a sellout, and many more are wondering how Beam was worth $25 million to begin with. In early 2017, Beam will be taken down and destroyed, so it's not something we'll have to think about for very long. ES File Explorer didn't have the best year. Once known as the best free file explorer out there, the application began its decline by adding in a bunch of snake oil features like performance boosting, cache cleaning, and task management. The decline reached critical when the application released an update in 2016 that added a so-called charge booster into the app and then hijacked the lock screen with advertising. The outcry was bad enough that the lock screen aspect was taken down, but by then the damage had been done. We're sure many still use ES File Explorer, but its nearly ubiquitous praise from users and pundits alike no longer exists. Evernote had a fairly interesting year. Their first big step was cutting down the features that free users get while beefing up the features that paid users get. This caused mild annoyance among people, but it wasn't really all that bad. However, they followed it up by announcing a new privacy policy in late 2016 that would allow some employees to see users' notes. This was done as part of a machine learning feature that the company was working on. The backlash was immediate, harsh, and angry, which led the CEO to announce a reversion to the old privacy policy soon after. Everything is back to normal for now, unless you're a free user of course, but it wasn't a great year for Evernote. Famous, formerly known as Stolen, was a mobile game where players could buy and sell Twitter accounts. There weren't any sales of actual accounts, but it kind of turned every Twitter account into a baseball card that could be collected with in-game currency. The idea, while harmless, sparked a variety of concerns from players and pundits alike. The app was taken down, revamped, and renamed as Famous before being released again. However, the concept of buying and selling people never really did mesh well with the kinds of people who decide those kinds of things, and it was pulled again. As it stands, the application has been removed from pretty much everywhere. Miitomo was released earlier this year. Does anybody remember Miitomo? For those who don't, Miitomo was Nintendo's first official release on Android. It's essentially a social media app with cutesy Nintendo stuff everywhere. People ask you questions, you answer them, and then you get coins to customize your little Miitomo character. The game was wildly popular for like 1 week and then dropped off the face of the earth the next week. People were undecided on whether or not it was actually a game, let alone whether or not it was any good, and people did feel a little weird about answering questions for total strangers. Needless to say, it was a fairly big letdown and it exited the spotlight almost as soon as it got there. Pokemon Go came out in mid-2016 and then everybody lost their damn minds. People were trespassing, criminals were using Pokestops to rope people in to rob them, whole countries were banning the app, and plenty of other ridiculous things were happening. To top things off, the game itself had rampant server and feature issues for months, had popular features ripped out of the game, and a rise and fall of popularity so intense that no other game in history could compare. People loved it, people hated it, and everybody was talking about it. The viral nature of the phenomenon made Flappy Bird look pathetic by comparison. Things have calmed down now, but Pokemon Go will be one of those things that even non-tech nerds will remember about 2016. Twitter and Vine both had really interesting years in a bad way. Twitter was at the heart of several controversies regarding various bans and punishments against various online personalities, along with conspiracy theories about Twitter's penchant to pick sides in things like politics. Then we have Vine. There was an announcement that Vine was going to go down in flames, only to be pulled back again at the last second. There were rumors pretty much all year that Twitter and Vine were looking for buyers, but they were allegedly too toxic for serious investors. It's been a down year for Twitter, and Twitter definitely knows it. And finally, we have Uber. They have made this list 3 years running, and in fact, it would feel almost wrong to not have them here. Okay, so here's what Uber did this year. In Taiwan, they labeled themselves as a tech platform, whereas the Taiwanese government labeled them as a transportation service. If Uber is right, the Taiwanese government is asking them to pay taxes that they don't owe. If Taiwan is right, then Uber is essentially dodging taxes. In California, their self-driving car ran a red light, and now California doesn't want Uber doing self-driving car stuff there anymore. Uber fought it, but ultimately took their project to Arizona instead. As per the norm, it was a crazy year for Uber. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Every year is a crazy year for Uber. And that about does it for this one, folks. If you want to keep watching, we have more best apps and games lists linked up there on the screen and in the video description below. Don't forget to keep it tuned to Android Authority because we are your source for all things Android. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.